Today we are covering designing Microsoft Azure infrastructure solutions. To find the complete list of questions and answers, please go to the playlist link provided in the description. Question is, you have 500 Azure Wave apps in the same Azure region. The apps use a premium Azure Key Vault for authentication. A developer reports that some authentication requests are being throttled. You need 10 recommend a solution to increase the available throughput of the key vault. For the solution must minimize costs. What should you recommend? Option A. Increase the number of key vaults in the subscription. Option B. Configure geo-replication. Option C. Change the pacing tier. Option D. Configure load balancing for the apps. Correct answer is option C. Next question is, you have 500 Azure Wave apps in the same Azure region. The apps use a premium Azure Key Vault for authentication. A developer reports that some authentication requests are being throttled. You need to recommend a solution to increase the available throughput of the key vault. The solution must minimize costs. What should you recommend? Option A. Change the pricing tier. Option B. Configure geo-replication. Option C. Configure load balancing for the apps. Option D. Increase the number of key vaults in the subscription. Correct answer is option D. Next question is, a company deploys Azure Active Directory Azure AD Connect to synchronize identity information from their on-premises Active Directory Domain Services ADDS directory to their Azure AD tenant. The identity information that is synchronized includes users' accounts, credentials, hashes for authentication, password sync, and group memberships. The company plans to deploy several Windows and Linux virtual machines (VMs) to support their applications. The VM have the following requirements. First, support domain join, LDAP read, LDAP bind, NTLM, and Kerberos authentication and group policy. Second, allow users to sign in to the domain using their corporate credentials and connect remotely to the VM by using remote desktop. You need to support the VM deployment. Which service should you use? Option A. Active Directory Federation Services ADFS. Option B. Azure AD Privileged Identity Management. Option C. Azure Managed Identity. Option D. Azure AD Domain Services. Correct answer is option D. Next question is, you manage an application instance. The application consumes data from multiple databases. Application code references database tables using a combination of the server, database, and table name. You need to migrate the application data to Azure. To which two Azure services could you migrate the application to achieve the goal? Each correct answer presents a complete solution. Option A. SQL Managed Instance. Option B. Azure SQL Database. Option C. SQL Server in an Azure Virtual Machine. Option D. SQL Server Stretch Database. Correct answer is option A and option D. Next question is, you have an Azure subscription. You need to deploy an Azure Kubernetes Service AKS solution that will use Linux nodes. The solution must meet the following requirements. First, minimize the time it takes to provision compute resources during scale-out operations. Second, support auto-scaling of Linux containers. Third, minimize administrative effort. Which scaling option should you recommend? Option A, virtual kubelet. Option B, cluster autoscaler. Option C, horizontal pod autoscaler. Option D, AKS virtual nodes. Correct answer is option D. Next question is you have to deploy an Azure SQL database named DB1 for your company. The databases must meet the following security requirements. When IT help desk supervisors query a database table named customers, they must be able to see the full number of each credit card. When IT help desk operators query a database table named customers, they must only see the last four digits of each credit card number. A column named credit card rating in the customers table must never appear in plain text in the database system. Only client applications must be able to decrypt the information that is stored in the column. Which of the following can be implemented for the credit card rating column security requirement? Option A, always encrypted. Option B, Azure Advanced Threat Protection. Option C, transparent data encryption. Option D, dynamic data masking. Correct answer is option A,